guys, and welcome back to the cookie jar. Today we are making the Jell-O Cake recipe. This is the 4th cake recipe in the book, I believe. This page, as well as this page. Now normally I read out all the ingredients you're going to need and everything, but this particular recipe, you need a box of white cake mix, which I went to pick one up, and none of them said white anymore. They all just say vanilla. So I don't know if that's something they've changed since this book came out or what, but I grabbed one of the ones that just said vanilla on it and called it a day. Now it says, and the ingredients you're going to need for the cake mix, as well as preheating the oven to your set directions. So basically, the one I grabbed, you need a cup of water, half cup of oil, and 3 eggs. Pretty standard. You make the cake, bake it for like 40-45 minutes in a 9x13. Then you take it out, completely cool it. And then it says you need 2 3-ounce packages dried Jell-O in contrasting colors. And basically, it doesn't tell you in the ingredients, but it tells you later on in the recipe that you also need a cup of boiling water per box. So you need that too. And then it says 1 small tub of Cool Whip or 1 can of whipped cream. So basically, you make the cake, you cool the cake completely. You make one of the Jell-Os, you poke holes in the cake, you pour the Jell-O over, you refrigerate it for an hour. You take it out, make the second box of Jell-O, poke more holes in the cake, pour over the second one, refrigerate it 4 hours to overnight. Now, there are a couple of notes in the recipe. The first one is, this recipe is from Andrea, who makes it for Tracy's birthday every year. Tracy's friends love it because it's colorful. Andrea loves it because it's easy, and she's the undisputed Jell-O queen of Lake Eden. And then the next one is, Andrea says it to warn you that the top is going to look ugly, and that's why you'll frost it with Cool Whip or whipped cream. And then there's also to make a layer cake instructions. It says, for a truly gorgeous cake, divide the batter into 2 8-inch round pans and bake it according to the package directions. Then divide the Jell-O between the 2 pans. To frost, remove the cakes from the pans, use Cool Whip or whipped cream between the layers, and defrost the sides and top. Everyone will ooh and ah when you slice the cake. The last tidbit is, Andrea made a confession to me the night of the Christmas potluck dinner. She said she doesn't bake the cake. She buys an unfrosted sheet cake at the Red Owl, which is their grocery store. Does the part with the Jell-O and frost it with Cool Whip. I thought about this for a few minutes and decided it's probably a good thing. For those of you who just watch the videos and haven't read the book, Andrea could burn boiling water. She's one of those people. I am a cake decorator. I work at a grocery store here in town. And it's not the worst idea. Like, we don't just carry uniced sheet cakes, but if you ask us for us, we'll give you one. You're gonna pay probably, $40. You're gonna pay full price for the cake, but you can get it uniced. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's really expensive. But if you could burn water, that's probably for the best. Like Hannah said, probably for the best. Okay, so everything is laid out in the kitchen. Let's get in there and get started. For the first part, we're just baking the cake, which is basically to preheat the oven, grease the 9x13, and then mix the water and the oil, and then the eggs one at a time. Pretty standard if you've ever made a box cake mix before. So I don't think I'm going to spend too much time explaining it. So like I said, called for a cup of water, half a cup of oil, vegetable oil it specifies, and then get that mixed up. And there's our eggs. Alright, it's been 2 minutes that it says to mix on the box. Now we're just going to pour this into our prepared pan. I know this isn't in the recipe. I've probably never seen this on an actual recipe for cake, but somewhere along the way, in the last however long it's been since home ec, somewhere along the way, it's gotten into my head that you have to tap the thing to get the air bubbles out, and if you don't, your cake's just gonna be a horrible mess. I don't know where it came from. I don't remember where it started, but that is in my head now. So it's almost like a superstition. You have to tap the cake. But this is ready to go in the oven. It'll bake for 28 to 33 minutes. And then we will let it completely cool off. Okay, so we have our first packet of Jell-O, our 1 cup of boiling water, and our now cool cake. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pop about 30 holes into the top of it. And keep in mind though, you still have to add another set of holes. So I'm trying to make it to alternate them. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I don't know. Checkerboard it maybe? And now we have to make Jell-O. Put a cup of water into the Jell-O, and you gotta mix it for about a minute and make sure it's 100% dissolved. Now we're just gonna pour it over. Now it says to give it a minute or 2 for this to soak in, and then we refrigerate it for an hour. So here we are, an hour later. We've got our second thing of Jell-O, our 1 cup of water, our cake, which we have to make another 30 holes, alternating the ones we already have. So I'm just gonna kind of try to leave room where I did it earlier so I could just go back and alternate where I had punched the first set of holes, try to keep them a little bit even. And now we make the Jell-O. I'm not quite sure how this is gonna work out, or if these colors just gonna blend together and look really weird. I'm not sure how. Like, I could see it in the double layer cake. I could. I just can't seem to make it make sense this way, where 1 layer was blue and 1 layer was orange. But we will see what happens. All right, so it says to let this sit for 2 minutes to soak it up, and then we will put it in the fridge for 4 hours. That's a long time, but that's what it says. Okay, so it has been 4 hours. This is what we have. Looks kind of cool from the bottom. The last thing we're gonna do with it is we have our Cool Whip, and it just says to ice it. So dump all of it on and then spread her out. Now, for something like this, I think it'd be really good for holidays, because you could, coordinate the colors for different things, like red and green for Christmas, or purple and green for Halloween, maybe some Eastery colors, red and pink for Valentine's. Put some sprinkles on top. You could really customize it for a holiday. Ta-da! Just for a little sneaky peek. That is the inside. All right, so here's one piece. And just for a reference, just to show you how different they can be from slice to slice. There's another one. All right, so Jell-O cake. It's interesting because it's not overly Jell-O flavored, which is something I was concerned with using the different colors to get the effect. I was like, well, what if the colors you want, the flavors don't go together? That was a concern. But for the most part, it's just vanilla cake. This, obviously the brand you get is gonna vary on how much you like the cake. But it is kind of cool, the colors you get. It's kind of like a very easy rainbow cake kind of idea. It's good, it's quick, it's fast. For people who aren't very good at baking, I can totally see why they would go for this option. You very easily dress up a plain cheap cake for a holiday or a birthday, make it a little bit extra. But overall, it's a nice little cake. It's a good idea. It's fun. Next week, we are doing Lady Hermione's Hannah's Chocolate Sunshine Cake. So, if you're interested in seeing that and how it gets made, join us next week. I hope you have a good one. Bye, lovelies!